Windranger is the most played hero in Immortal games, whilst having an absurd overall win rate of 58%. Not only that, she has a mind-blowing 63% win rate as a carry. Arteezy is also spamming this hero, and he has a win rate of 75%. Let's figure out the reasoning behind it. Windranger is a universal hero, and universal heroes get damage per each attribute. In 7.33c, the damage gain was increased from 0.6 to 0.7. Every hero in Dota gets damage from their main attribute, but universal heroes get the benefits of all three attributes, resulting in them having high amounts of base damage scaling. This basically means that if you buy an Iron Branch on a universal hero, you will get 2.1 damage, whereas on a hero that isn't universal, you will only get 1 damage based on their main attribute. The thing that makes this broken is the fact that you can keep the benefits of every attribute while also keeping the damage. For example, Treads give you 10 attribute based on the attribute it's set on. Previously, if you weren't the strength hero, you'd have to sacrifice the 10 damage for 200 HP. But now, on universal heroes, you can keep the HP as well as the damage benefits. Like if you see here, I'm gonna change my Treads and the damage stays the same. If I put them down, the damage reduces by 7. So essentially, I can use it on agility for attack speed, I can use it on strength for HP, and I can also use it on intelligence for mana, as you can see on my health pool and my attack speed. This whole concept allows them to build stat items and become raid bosses with high HP and damage output. Starting with the early build, Arteezy has been experimenting with it quite a bit. Initially, his item build was a triple branch, a circlet, tangos, and a magic stick, but now he's defaulted to buying a magic wand and a triple branch. The first build gives him 5 attributes each, and the stick helps him in the lane. The branches can be used to combine with the magic stick and get a full wand, and the circlet can be upgraded to either a wraith band if you need armor or a bracer if you need HP plus damage. Bracer is usually the default, as bracers net you with 9.3 damage overall and 100 HP, which is good value for 500 gold. Overall, you get 10.5 damage from this early build, and it has an upgradable path. The cons of this build are that the upgrading will delay your maelstrom timing. The pros are that you can upgrade it and be stronger in lane. The second build nets you with 6 attributes each, and the magic wand helps in the lane. There is no upgradability in this build, and the branches will either be used to eat tangos or just be sold later on. Overall, you get 12.6 damage from this build. The pros of this build are that you can rush your treads without buying additional items, resulting in you getting a better maelstrom timing. A better maelstrom timing means faster farming and also helps with focus fire. I personally think both builds are good and equally viable. If you prefer an earlier maelstrom timing, you can go for the magic wand build, and if you prefer lane dominance, you can go for the other build. Arteezy always prioritizes fighting for bounty runes. Windranger has a high damage nuke, which can be used to steal kills very easily. Not only that, her auto attacks hit like a truck. These two attributes can help in securing kills, and as a result, allow you to get a head start. Windranger has a good base attack time and high base damage. Combine that with her long attack range, she can bully enemies with her right clicks reliably. Not only that, Windrun allows her to chase down foes and also run away if she's caught out of position. These factors allow her to always be able to have an aggressive approach in the laning phase. Arteezy always has an aggressive approach in the lane. Most offlaners are melee heroes, and as a ranged hero with high attack range, you can keep hitting them and make their lives miserable. Windranger does not have a way to burst heroes down 100 to 0 in the laning phase, so she relies on chip damage to set up kills eventually. Kills happen in the laning phase if your support has some form of stun or slow. Arteezy's laning phase involves a lot of right-click harass on the enemy, using power shot to secure creeps, and if an enemy is standing alone, then he uses power shot to deal the maximum damage without the damage reduction factor. Other than that, he usually rushes Gloves of Haste out of the tread components. The additional attack speed combined with Windranger's high base damage allows him to deny a lot of creeps and also deal right-click damage to the enemy. Windranger requires very few items to fight. In the laning, Arteezy mostly prioritizes pressuring the enemy as long as it is safe. If he doesn't intend on pressuring the enemy, then after at least 3 points in the power shot, he usually pushes in the wave and then forms a side camp with his power shot. His farming pattern is quite simple. Push in the wave, form the large camp, then proceed towards the small camp. After farming the small camp, if the wave is nearby, he prefers that. If not, he goes behind his tower and farms a medium, followed by the small camp. This is similar to how you would do it on most carries. Windranger's build is quite simple. There are two variations. One build is where you buy a bracer, treads, wand into Maelstrom, and the other is where you buy wand, treads, and Maelstrom. In order for Windranger to function as a carry and be able to scale, an item like Maelstrom helps her in farming, and not only that, it also allows her to fight. This is your early game build. In some cases, you might need Diffusal. For example, against Medusa, in that case, you buy Diffusal before you buy Maelstrom. In terms of neutral items, for tier 1, you mostly want to get items that give you all attributes like Pickpole and Oculate Bracelet. The only item that is better than these two is the Spark of Courage, which gives you high damage. If you don't have any of these options, then you can opt for the Duelist Gloves. Every video takes a lot of effort, and I want to keep helping you guys by making quality content. If you are enjoying the video, please make sure to like the video as it helps with the YouTube algorithm, and also subscribe. Now back to the guide. Windranger has a fighting kit. Her spells are designed for skirmishes. Windranger is not your traditional farming carry. She only requires a few items to be able to participate in fights. In the early game, Arteezy actively participates in fights. If his team is fighting somewhere, he usually will join them by TPing in or by smoking with them. His ult allows him to burst on any hero in the game, thanks to Maelstrom. Windranger is more of a fighter than a farmer, which benefits the current meta playstyle where fights happen more often. But this certainly does not mean that you run around looking for fights all the time. Arteezy fights, and when his ult is on cooldown, he goes back and farms. One thing to keep in mind is that on Windranger, AFK farming or split pushing is not that good, mainly due to the fact that she can't clear camps or waves as fast as heroes like Sven or Anti-Mage, so joining fights is encouraged on this hero. After getting Maelstrom, Arteezy tends to move towards his triangle area where he can farm Ancients. Since Windranger is not a flash farmer, he usually isn't able to farm both the Ancients in the triangle area. His farming pattern is as follows. He farms the Ancient camp, then farms the large camp, then if the wave is pushed in, if he has the time, he farms the Ancient camp, if not, he tries to stack it. In terms of farming patterns, every hero that can be played as a carry follows more or less the same patterns. If you want to learn more about patterns, refer to my How to Farm video and Yatoro Juggernaut video. After treads in Maelstrom, Arteezy decides between upgrading the Maelstrom into Gleipnir or buying something defensive like Linkins or Manta, or in some cases, both. If he's playing against spells like Doom, Rupture, or Roar, he tends to buy Linkins straight after Maelstrom. Windranger needs to be evasive in order to run down her foes. If she gets doomed or ruptured or roared, she won't be able to do that. Linkins helps with that. If he needs a basic dispel for silences, roots, he tends to go for Manta. Manta provides him with 10 strength, 10 intelligence, and 24 agility. This makes 44 attributes overall, which is equivalent to 30.8 damage. Not only that, you can also disjoint animations or dispel spells with the active of the Manta. Overall, this item gives you 200 HP, 200 mana, and 38 attack speed. For universal heroes, this item is a game changer. He tends to buy Manta right after Maelstrom if he needs a Dispel and does not require a Linkin. If he needs a Linkin and a Dispel, he buys Linkins first and then buys Manta, and after that, he buys Gleipnir. If he doesn't need Linkins or Manta, he tends to upgrade the Maelstrom into Gleipnir. Gleipnir gives you 24 intelligence, 14 agility, and 14 strength. This makes 52 attributes overall, which is equivalent to 36.4 damage for universal heroes. Not only that, but you are also getting the benefits of the attributes in the form of mana pool, attack speed, and health pool. Gleipnir allows you to catch foes and be super tanky whilst dealing insane damage. So to summarize, if there is no need to buy anything defensive, he upgrades Maelstrom to Gleipnir. If there is a need for something defensive like Linkins or Manta, he tends to get them before upgrading to Gleipnir. In short, he prioritizes survivability, and not only that, items like Linkins and Manta allow you to do better in fights. For his skill build, Arteezy puts 3 points in his power shot, then maxes his wind run, followed by his shackle shot. 3 points in power shot are enough for farming and also securing kills, Power Shot is mainly used in the laning phase that does not scale as well as your other spells. Shackle Shot allows you to solo kill foes by stunning them to oblivion. Wind Run is your aggressive and defensive spell, allowing you to escape and engage depending upon the situation. Not only that, Wind Rain scales with your Aghanim Scepter, which is one of the reasons why Wind Ranger is so good in this patch. Overall, his skill build is that he puts 3 points in his Power Shot, followed by maxing his Wind Run and then Shackle Shot. He does not take talent at level 10, but rather after Shackle Shot is maxed out. He goes back to putting the last point in his Power Shot after he has taken his talents and maxed his other spells excluding his ult. For his talents, he takes the -2 Shackle Shot cooldown talent as his first talent, because a lower cooldown on Shackle Shot means more usage in longer fights over the Wind Run radius, which isn't that great. For his second talent, he takes the cooldown reduction on Wind Run. You always buy Ags on Wind Ranger, and this talent makes your Ags even stronger. For his third talent, he takes the damage reduction. This increases your damage output, which is always nice. For his last talent, he decides depending upon the game. If the enemy has ways to dispel his Wind Run, like Yule's Nullifier, etc., then the Wind Run undispellable talent is the best talent. If they don't, then the advanced cooldown is better. For his late game itemization, Arteezy usually buys Aghanim Scepter or BKB depending upon the game, followed by Daedalus or MKB. Windranger excels if she isn't stopped by anything when she uses her focus fire to go in and decimate one hero from the fight. In a lot of drafts, if the enemy has stuns or halberds, basically ways to stop her from doing what she wants to do, you will need a BKB. A BKB basically guarantees that you can 100 to 0 one hero. If Arteezy doesn't need BKB and doesn't lack damage, he defaults to buying Aghanims. Windranger's Aghanim was buffed in 7.33, giving her 50% physical damage reduction on Wind Run. This basically means that even if the enemy buys MKB, you will still have a chance of surviving. Not only that, the invisibility from Ags basically allows you to be a total menace. In a game of Dota, invisibility is essentially invincibility. If there are damage issues, Arteezy usually goes for Daedalus. Daedalus is your raw damage combined with focus fire. The crit procs will eliminate any hero. MKB is only bought if you're playing against any form of evasion. Overall, a good item build on Windranger could be something like this: Treads, Maelstrom, Gleipnir, Manta, Aghanims, and Daedalus. You can add in BKB or Lincolns depending upon the game. Windranger's teamfighting is quite simple. I've watched a lot of Arteezy teamfights. The only thing you have to be careful about is your focus fire usage. It has a decent cooldown, and you'll mostly get to use it once in a fight. Windranger is a hard commit hero, meaning that you go all in and burst one hero down. In majority of the cases, you want to go in and use your focus fire on one of their cores, ideally their carry or a core who can also kill you. Arteezy uses his focus fire on the enemy carry, kills him, and then after that he has enough attack speed and right click damage thanks to his hero being universal and having 1 billion base damage, with which he can just right click everyone else. The pattern is quite simple. Hard commit on a single kill with focus fire, kite around with your Wind Run, and keep clicking heroes and you will win. Arteezy only goes high ground if the members of the enemy team are dead or if he has Aegis. Windranger chips towers down quickly with their focus fire. He uses his focus fire to take down buildings and does not dive to kill the enemy. Even without focus fire or Daedalus, this hero hits for 400 damage per hit, so destroying buildings isn't exactly an issue for her. Combine that with Wind Run, it is kind of hard to do anything to her. I hope this was helpful. If you are interested in private coaching, you can join my Discord linked in the description. Other than that, I've also linked my Patreon where you can find excellent investment opportunity in terms of coaching packages. If you like the content, do subscribe, as this will encourage me to make more videos like this. Do let me know in the comments if you have any feedback. Have a nice day and good luck with the new patch.